And yeah, let's see where we're at. So you just said it, Ewok. Bitcoin, absolutely insane right now. Pumping up to over 57K now. We both admit, or I at least do, I won't speak for you, but I admit definitely being wrong on where I thought the next move would go. You can look back a few weeks ago and we were both thinking we'd be down into the 30s. That 48K number was a spot that we thought would be kind of heavy resistance before we went back down. We've just seen continued strength, which is just insane. I'm pinching myself. Literally, I'll pinch myself right here, right on the nipple for everybody. We're at 57K. I mean, that's a mere 12K off of the all-time high. Now, I personally don't think we're going anywhere near that right now. I guess we are kind of near it, but I don't think we're headed in that direction. I think we've got to hit a brick wall here soon. And I do think we will get back into those high 30s at least, which a lot of people aren't seeing right now. If you go throughout Twitter, I mean, you're going to see a lot of super bullish sentiment, but we have ETH at 3250, and you can look at the rest of the alts. But yeah, the strength of Bitcoin right now, Ewok. Talk about what you're seeing, and then we'll kind of parlay that statement into, we've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter today, including Money Gang Crypto, talking about like, this is one of the highest points that we've been at pre-Bitcoin halving for Bitcoin ever before. Yeah. So yeah, what do you make of this right now?
Well, yeah. And, usually that pullback, what I was looking at the charts, it happens right about a month before. And I guess, we haven't even gotten that far yet because it's predicted to be on April 14th, 16th, something around there. So we do have another probably 2 weeks of this. So it'll be very interesting to see how high it can get. Now, will it touch all-time high? I don't think so, but I've been wrong before. I was wrong about this. I thought we would at least get some sort of pullback, like you said, back into this 48K, maybe a little bit lower range. That's kind of where I can see it going. I mean, you look at the RSI, it's definitely overbought. I mean, it started to flatten out last week, what was it, the 19th? And it was kind of turning down. If you look right here, started to turn back down and then just poop back right back up. So, the strength index is still pointed up. Yeah, I mean, I think another couple weeks and it could really hit that wall. I just thought it would be just a little bit earlier, but yeah, it's looking good. It's looking strong. You've got the dominance at 53.7, almost 54%. That's, going to be good too, to see that number come back down as things kind of trickle back into Ethereum and some altcoins. Ethereum good too. So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly green candles so far. And it's just, like I said, everything is looking strong in these major markets. I don't see it in the alts as much, but this is at least looking good. It's pulling everything else with it.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I want to go back to where Bitcoin is right now in a moment. But yeah, you bring up a good point about ETH and the alts. I mean, ETH has been starting to run, even though Bitcoin's been running so hard, ETH has been starting to run pretty good against it. And once it does kind of catch it here, that is when we could really see the alts start to go. And I think it would be when Bitcoin starts to peel back a little bit. Acknowledging what Hex Girl's saying here, and we have a big conversation here because I want to look at that Money Gang Crypto tweet that I did just post in the chat if you guys want to check it out. But Hex Girl says, if we don't get a pullback in BTC, this bull run will be short, I think. I mean, essentially, I think what she's saying, kind of longer term is like, yeah, if we see this run kind of continue and maybe see all-time highs come, earlier this year than we would have expected, I agree. I mean, that's pretty much been the operating thing, that Bob Lucas has talked about, Sami's talked about for a long time, the possibility of a left translated cycle. With how bullish we are right now, regardless of why it is, yeah, that leads to a further likelihood of that. I mean, it's still wait and see right now. I still don't think we've definitely seen anything to say that that's what we're going to get. But yes, I agree. And it wouldn't be my preference. I really don't want this to continue, as weird as that is to say. If you've been around markets for a little bit, you kind of want it to cool off and do what it traditionally does, especially because our bags haven't pumped yet. So quite simply.
True.
Yeah. But yeah, which I mean, it's not even just pulse chain. I mean, like the alts, while some of them have run for sure, we haven't seen anything compared to what has happened in past cycles while we've seen this bullish action from Bitcoin. So, yeah, what do you make of that, Ewok? Like, just ETH looking like it's starting to catch BTC, and we don't have to get into the whole alt season conversation because we're going to talk about that a bit more later. But her idea about the earlier cycle and the chances of a left translated earlier cycle like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. We don't know the effect of the ETF, still, and that's very, early in the whole stages of that. So, I think that whole thing has to play out. Again, you said it as well. We're so early. The halving hasn't even happened yet. So, we've got all the rest of this year. We've got the most of next year, if not all of next year. There's a lot of time. People are getting kind of strangely weird about the alts not doing anything. And like you said, I know we'll talk about this later, but you have to realize how early in the cycle we are. This is still a lot of the sideways area that things kind of hang out in for the better part of all this year. So if you're not patient and you're one of those people that has to, see something happening at all times, you might want to close your wallet and walk away for about 8 or 10 months. Otherwise, you could, I hate to see people FUD their own bags. And that's kind of what I'm starting to see. I've been seeing it a lot, but more and more as it just goes sideways and doesn't do anything, we're going to continue to see more of the same.
Yeah, I think you're right. As weird as it is to say, because we've said it so much for like 2 years now on this show, but yeah, we just need to be patient. I mean, and things have already started to move. So, I mean, there is some positives there, but
Sure.
it's not going to be all Bitcoin. But look at that Money Gang Crypto tweet real quick. And actually, if you want to bring it up from the chat Ewok and share it on screen, you can, but it's not that big a deal. I can just kind of read what he says too. But he said the current Bitcoin cycle is outperforming its 2021 run prior to BTC halving back in May 2020. The price currently sits at 269% gain from its low in the bear market at just under 57K BTC. During the 21 run-up, BTC did 220% gain in the halving. What it's currently mimicking, this is the interesting part, it's mimicking the 2017 bull run, whereby prior to the halving in 2016, Bitcoin moved 326% gain. If the pattern of 2017's bull run plays out, Bitcoin will land around the 66K to 68K mark at the halving on April 25th. That would be insane because that's the previous all-time high and already getting there at the halving, which people are not expecting. I mean, we were more thinking of that maybe later in the year. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But yeah, if it continues to follow, he's just simply saying if it follows the 2017 trend, that's what we would be seeing. So yeah, what do you make of that? I mean, and there's he's not the only person pointing this out. I saw Hansy was on Twitter talking about this earlier today. We've seen it from a few people. So yeah, what do you make of that?
Well, again, that puts it right at almost all-time high in between, the two levels. We have the double top kind of thing, puts it right in between the two of those. And, like it says, it did the very similar thing in 2017 where it went that high before it actually pulled back. So, every cycle has had a pullback. It's just that's part of the cycle, and it's the same until it's not, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's just as possible as it hitting a brick wall tomorrow and following 2021's run. So,
right,
where are we at now? 269%. So,
nice.
It's in between right now, 220 and 326. So, I mean, you take the average of these, all these runs, and, we're still in that middle area. So, I don't make anything of it until it does something spectacularly different. If it does the same as 2017, well, then it's still within that average range. So, yeah, it's one of those just wait and see. You can't predict it. Again, we don't know what the ETF effects are yet of all of this. So it could play out as a completely different thing because now there's a different catalyst involved. So
very true.
Interesting to watch for sure.
Interesting comment by Harvey Diaz here. He says, no way Bitcoin hits 39K again. He doesn't realize it, but he actually just confirmed Bitcoin will definitely go below 39K again. So just having
Way to
fun
go,
with him.
Harvey.
Yeah,
No,
way to go, Harvey. But I do think we will see it again, regardless, though. But honestly, that sentiment right there. I mean, all over Twitter today, there was some dude who like maxed out a whole bunch of credit cards buying BTC today. I mean, it's like classic.
Yep.
What the hell are you doing, dude? I mean, it's too euphoric for BTC right now. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm
Well,
not. Go ahead.
I think I saw a lot of people pulling their shorts too, as well, and not the shorts they're wearing, but the shorts they have in crypto. So
probably both.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, you're seeing all the signs. Yeah, you're seeing some of these accomplished traders that were short on Bitcoin, and they're like, "Oh, never mind. I mean, we're pumping. It looks stronger than I thought it was, and all these things." But and that doesn't mean this move is going to reverse overnight. I mean, we could still stay here for even another couple of weeks. But yeah, I definitely see it heading back down there for sure. So, yeah, so interesting stuff for the first time in a while. Some interesting stuff talking about BTC. So.